Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome to the John Cat Show. Joined by a very special guest today in the Jeffrey Dahmer t-shirt. My man, Pat Mullen, a.k.a. Cakes,
What up?
a.k.a. Patty
What
Cakes.
up?
What's going on, man? What's the
Thank you,
shirt
man.
say? I eat guys for you like breakfast. Or I eat guys like you for breakfast.
For breakfast.
Jeffrey Dahmer. I wrote my 8th grade research paper on Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm surprised
Really?
my parents didn't have me checked out after that. Yeah, it was wild too, because like, you know, you're like 13, and this is way before the internet, so you're really researching this stuff in the library. Like, I'm in the library looking up all the old newspaper articles, like every detail of what he did to these boys. I wrote, like, it was like my final 8th grade, like final term, 30-page, just every murder he did.
Crazy shit.
There you go.
Even from the squirrels.
What's that?
Shit in the woods, you know? Like the squirrels he would kill.
Oh, yeah. They say all those
nail them on trees.
serial killers always
Dead
kill
dogs.
animals when they're kids, right?
Yeah, man. Just started a new show on Netflix called Ratched. With Ratched, yeah. Ratched with Sarah Paulson.
It's good.
Oh man, it's good.
I'll check
It's about
it out.
Nurse Ratched, like frontal lobotomy, like just crazy
Okay.
shit.
Before we get started, just so people know, people listening or watching, me and Patty go way back to our Marriott days working together in the hotel business. I think Pat's still in this business, but we'll get to some of that. But I was, I think, maybe 19 or 20 when I started working there. I don't know. You're a little younger than me. You must have been, 18 or something?
Yeah, 18.
Damn. Babies. How old are you now?
When did I start? 99.
Okay.
99.
And you're what now? 30.
39.
So 2-year difference. So yeah, I was about 21. You were probably about 19. Something like that. Wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was there a few years. We had good times. Working banquets.
Crazy times, bro.
Crazy times.
I mean, it's like family, though, you know?
Yeah.
Like everybody there. Like mad chill.
I was a young man. I didn't know what I was doing. We used to just sit on the loading dock all night. It was a late job. Working banquets was basically, most days, we did some mornings. I hated working more, but most days it was show up at 3 in the afternoon, go home at 3 in the morning, and half that time be out in the back smoking a lot of stuff. Freestyling. You still rapping? Pat used to spit some beats out there on the loading dock, man. You still write?
Not so much. I draw, do a lot of art, you know, as you can.
You design your own tats?
Most of them, yeah. Ideas of my own. I just got this one done a little bit ago.
Sick, dude. That's wild.
Heavy as the head.
Oh, nice. You didn't have any of that back then, right? Like maybe 1 or 2, I think.
No, I got my first one there, dude.
I remember you getting one. I remember. Didn't
Brian smacked it.
Didn't somebody go with someone else get one too at the same time? I'm trying to remember, or maybe not. I thought maybe.
Remember Brian?
Yeah.
From AV.
Okay.
Smacked the shit out of it. I was like, dude.
I was gonna make you spit some bars on here for everybody.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
So how you holding up, man? You're in the hotel business. You're not going in yet, right? You're still furloughed, as they say.
Yeah.
You're upstate New York, right?
Yeah, Syracuse. Doing like 2 days a week right now. Just writing our reopening program. So we can submit it to the county, and pretty much this is what we have in place. This is what we've already done, what we currently have done in the past. You know, like all kitchen food is all, you know, glove.
What hotel chain are you with again?
It's not a hotel. It's convention center.
Oh, okay. Tell us where at. You're in what, Syracuse?
Yeah. Yep. Syracuse. It's like, I don't know, 1 million people, I guess.
And why is it 2 days a week? Just because they don't have the demand because of the coronavirus?
It's like a shared work program they're doing with the state, Cuomo. It's crazy, dude, because literally you can go in to a Walmart, see 500 people, but I can't do a cocktail reception for 300 or a wedding for 150.
You can't even go to your family's funerals when you could go into Walmart.
Yeah.
Or see it.
My broski Ryan, you know Ryan, Jason, Sean.
Your brothers.
Yeah,
of course. I thought you meant broski like figuratively.
For Marriott up here, they did their first wedding 2 weeks ago, and they wanted 100 people at the wedding. But in New York State, you can't have a party more than 50. So they brought in the first 50 for an hour and a half. Rah, rah, rah. You know?
So silly.
Whatever. Lost them out, cleaned the next 50.
You should have told them if they had just held up some woke protest signs, they would have been immune. They could have just hung out all night with 1 million people. Apparently, you can't catch it if you have a poster in your hands.
Or if you're sitting down eating in a restaurant, you can't catch it. But if you're standing up at the bar, bro, watch out, man.
Or if you
want to... That's why I sit at home in my man cave. And this is local, by the way. 1911.
By the way.
Apple cider.
If you want to sit on a plane and pull your mask down 43 times every time you take a sip of your drink and keep touching your fucking face, you can. And apparently when you pull it down to take the sip, you're cool. But then you got to put it right back up to make sure you protect everybody. I mean, I dropped mine in the parking lot again the other day, and I was like, man, I'm going to catch something putting this nasty thing on my face. I've said it before.
That's why I just like, I want to bring this out.
There you go. It would do just as much as the cloth tissue ones from 7-Eleven. Plus you scare everybody. Oh, man.
This is my Halloween last year.
Oh, shit. That would actually scare me. If I saw you coming in that thing, I'd actually be frightened if I didn't know you. With the Dahmer shirt, too, I'd be like, this guy is fucking crazy for real, for real. What are you doing Halloween this year? What are you doing? No, nothing, right?
No.
It's shut down. No. New York's still they're still, as they say, they're still doing Corona in New York, huh? It's so weird, man. Like anyone who thinks New York.
I just heard that there was like new hot zones in New York City, you know?
New York City hit herd immunity a long time ago from what I could tell, but I don't know. I'm no expert, man. Right. I'm going to leave all that to the Alex Berensons and them to give all the theories on what's really going on. But it's pretty nuts.
We too have our own theory, you know?
I can tell you that a $2 mask from the gas station has never been proven to protect against anything. We might as well. I mean, what they say is, obviously, and I see this in the stores, bro. You see it too. The countries that say don't do masks, like they don't want to mandate masks, they say it prevents you from doing the proven methods of just hand washing and distancing. Distancing works in washing your hands and face. What doesn't work is when you strap on the fake mask and then people get comfortable and they stand really close to each other, if you notice, when they have their bullshit masks on. But when they don't, no one's breathing in each other's face. As long as you wash your hands and don't breathe in each other's faces, you're going to be fine. But people get this false sense of security, like, I got my mask. Now they're on TV saying, like, the mask is going to be more effective than the vaccine, which would be pretty fucking crazy. But I don't know, man.
How are they doing it down there? Like in stores, do you have to have one on? Like, do you get those rebels that are like, nothing, or they come in and they're like, yeah, can I get a pack of Marlboros?
That's me. That is me to a T. I put my hat over my face. I forget it in the car. I'm like, fuck it. Bro, I went into a place. It's up to the places down here. I think now it's led up to where it's 99% of places have a sign on the door that says you must wear an mask to enter. But I go in without one a lot. They don't say anything. Bro, I went in one the other day. I had my hat over my face because I didn't have the mask. And the guy's like, I just went up to the counter. And the guy's like, oh, sorry, I can't serve you with a mask on. I'm like, bro, he goes, here, you could buy one. He's like, you could buy one and then I'll be able to serve you. I was like, so you want me to buy a mask, unpackage it, take it out, put it on, and then you'll give me what I need? It would be a lot quicker. He's like, no, sorry. I go, sorry, man, I'm not doing that. I walked out. I'm not giving that guy my business. I realized after I should have bought it, put it on, took it off, and threw it at him after. But I went up the street. Someone will serve me like an American. Dude. If you're going to make people wear masks, make them wear a real mask. Make them wear an N95. No, really. Something that's been proven to prevent illness. Otherwise, you're just spinning everybody's wheels and keeping people like Pat from working full time.
I drove by a daycare on the way to work the other day, and the girl was out there in the a worker in the playground with some of the kids. She was fully hazmat suit, dude, full hazmat, face shield,
the visor.
I was like, oh my god, the aliens are landing. You know, like I don't know.
People seem to have calmed down a little bit, man. It was a few months ago. Everyone seemed to be driving with that thing on.
So did you hear about when the schools were reopening for regular K through 12?
Right.
That there was a person, a lady who came out saying how her kid needs to go in school more than one day a week, and that it's no fair that special ed kids can get to go in school more days a week than her kid, and her kid has a fighting chance better than dude. Like, this shit went viral, like thousands of shares. Chicks on my block, dude. She was pretty crass in the stuff she was saying on the post and whatever.
Right.
They like fired her husband from his job, you know, in town. Like a whole bunch of crazy shit, dude. I was waiting for like news crews to pull up, you know?
Yeah. You can't voice your opinion anymore, man. Now there's consequences.
Right. I mean, I haven't had, you know, news like that crazy in my town since ever, you know? Maybe when we lived in Boca. Well, when I lived in Boca. You remember the American Media building with the anthrax shit, bro? So the American Media building in Boca got sent envelopes with anthrax in it. And that was like the first time that something like that was sent in the mail, I guess. And then it started going to the Pentagon.
You're saying this was after 9/11?
During.
Like, I remember there was anthrax being sent all over the place, but I don't remember the Boca building.
First place was the Boca building.
You have a way better memory than me. I do remember when they were sending anthrax everywhere, and then it was like a false anthrax scare every day. They thought somebody had anthrax. Yeah, you don't want anthrax. That's the thing, man. If you ever got like a legit... That's what scares me more than anything, Pat, man, is seeing the way people are reacting to this pinprick. It's like, I'm like, man... They don't have the backbone for when the real shit hits the fan. Like, it's a fragile society. It scares me. Like, if something that really kills people, like, at a high clip, like something that if you catch it, instead of a 99.9 survival rate, you have a 50% chance, like, people are really, like, dropping dead in the street, like anthrax or Ebola or something. Man, it's a scary thought. People do crazy shit.
Everyone go get vaccines, bro.
Go get ammo. People do desperate shit. And
I just got my girl that.
I can't see crossbow. The back. It's blurry back. You got the crossbow for the apocalypse?
Oh, okay, I got a couple. Okay. I got more than that.
Sick. You hunt with that thing?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's my girl.
Your girl hunts? Janelle?
Yeah. Cool, man.
How's Jaybird, man?
Jaybird's good, dude.
Still married?
Yeah. Jaybird is my brother Jason.
Jason, married
For,
to
for
Marty.
those of them that don't know.
Was it Marty?
Yeah, Maddie. They got 2 daughters.
Nice.
My nieces, Kaden and Riley.
Oh, awesome.
He's doing good.
Where's he at?
Atlanta.
Okay. Yeah, Jay worked with us there too. So did a couple other brothers for a minute, but he was the OG.
He's got a beautiful home, dude. On the 9th hole of the country club that he lives at, like the turn of the 9, like dog legs left, and it's like a par 5. And in order to like get to his backyard, if you're on the hole, you got to cross this like moat bridge.
Right.
So people hit balls constantly, just like long shotting them into the fucking rough. And they'll leave him. He's got like 7 Lowe's buckets in his garage full of Pro Vs.
You should sell them in the yard.
Dude, it's pretty cool. When I go down to visit, like when it dies down, we'll just go out on the 9th and just start
play. Yeah.
He's got his house goes up because like it's Atlanta. They build everything on hills and fucking mountains and shit. So his house is like 4 or 5 stories.
Wow.
He's got like mother-in-law like downstairs kind of add-on.
Keep her locked in the basement.
There's like 4 decks. So we've teed off on the top deck onto the 9th. Like, I remember playing Delray Municipal.
I'm sure. Probably with George and maybe Will Thurman. Definitely George was there if we played.
I fucking teed off on the first hole and line drove this shit into a brand new Maserati.
Well,
I was like...
With me?
No, I think I was with Anthony. Yeah, I think I was with Anthony.
Anthony the pro.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a long, long time.
I think he's on Facebook.
Yeah, probably a couple, I don't know. You forget your password, set up a new one, and a new one. Yeah, crazy right slice, dude. I perfected it, though. I golf, I try to get out there, every Saturday.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I had a few of those type experiences. Hitting into houses and getting in some trouble.
I've been learning a lot the last 3 years from my dad. My grandpa was a one handicap.
Handicap, yeah.
And he taught my dad a lot of shit. My brother Jason has my grandpa's putter. It's an old hickory shaft. Real old, 1930s.
Yeah.
Shit. Pretty dope.
Does he play with it?
No, it's like mantle.
I know what you're talking about, yeah. That's funny.
Jaybird's busy though, man. He works for Middleby, which is you remember him and Dennis went and they worked for Mila.
Okay.
Appliances. And he just kept going up and up, and he worked
Forgot
for
about
Middleby,
Dennis guy.
Pretty much.
You confirmed something I talk about a lot. People don't always get what I'm saying when I say this, but you're a sharp dude. You'll get what I mean. Here's a weird thing about memories, I always say, right? Which is this. Dennis is such a perfect example because memories only exist if you choose to retrieve
Open
them.
that up.
Right. So, if something happened in 3rd grade and, I could go, let's say somebody threw something across. I could go my whole life and never think of it again. But if someone said to me, hey, John, remember in 3rd grade when so-and-so threw that rock against, I'd be like, oh, yeah. And then I remember, but like Dennis, I would have got my whole life and died, never thinking of Dennis again. But then you say the name and then I picture his face. So it's like, I was thinking about, get your thoughts on this. You were talking to me online a little. You mentioned generations being different and stuff. I have too many thoughts on this, so interrupt me if I go too long. We could do 2 hours on this topic. But here's a thought I've been having a lot lately, and it bothers me, which is it used to be that young people like us, let's say when we were, 20, 25, whatever, it used to be the young people that were always fighting the man to have freedom of expression and kind of say anything they want to say and show things on TV and show things in movies and have things in rap songs and rock songs that are offensive, but it's freedom of speech, freedom of expression. And young people are always fighting for that. And now it's like it's the old fuddy-duddy conservatives fighting for that, and it's the young people telling them to shut the fuck up. It's like if you had the movie remember the movie Footloose? If you had the movie Footloose today, it'd be the old dudes trying to have a dance and the young people being like, nah, man, what are you, a Trump voter? You can't have a dance. You know what I mean? Like, right. I never thought I'd see like the young crowd censoring everybody and the old people. But I mean, it's a constitutional issue, I guess, the First Amendment issue.
Did you see today, like right after in Louisville when the verdict came out?
Right.
And the cameras panned from the courthouse, like inside to the reporters outside.
Just for everybody listening, Pat's talking about Breonna Taylor, and there were no direct murder charges or anything. I think a couple people got with what was it? There was a lesser charge. I can't remember what they called it.
Yeah, it was.
I don't recall, but they didn't get any serious charges or anything. But go ahead. Sorry.
Right. There was a group of like girls in all black, like with like red berets,
right,
combat boots with red laces, and ARs in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
And they're walking up to the reporters, and they're like, "Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!" And they're holding their middle fingers up,
right,
in front of the cameras, so the cameras had to like turn away because it was live on TV. And they just ousted all the reporters back themselves. Like, we got this, we're a militia, and like it's a different world we live in, but a same world where back growing up 20 years ago, Rage Against the Machine was really prevalent, and they were fighting for similar things.
They think they're raging against something they're not. They're acting in the exact fashion that they think they're fighting against because they've been made to. I'll keep saying this 1,000 times on here, man.
They've been unemployed for 6 months. They're crazy. They want
to
like, do something.
Half of them didn't even have a job. I mean, half of these kids, half of them are teenagers. I don't know. I think that I know people's minds are not evolved to process this kind of sensationalism. We're just not. Especially young, dumb, impressionable people, if you can't handle, if the people that know better are the ones I blame, right? I don't blame the people angry out in the streets because those people are angry about other stuff, but then they're having their pain and anger redirected to a place where it doesn't belong. People know better, and they take a handful of incidents and they just throw them. Look, Breonna Taylor, what happened to her was a fucking tragedy, right? I think it was her boyfriend that shot at the cop. That she never deserved to die. Fine, right? But here's the point I gotta make. There's a reason people still say the name Breonna Taylor. There's a reason we still say George Floyd, because it's not happening every day. It happens a few times a year, and they take these stories and they just go, man, boom, everyone's racist. Everybody fight. Everybody rage against, but they're not raging against the right things, man. And in fact, they end up being the oppressor because you can't say boo against anything. You say the wrong thing and you just become the devil, especially if
you don't agree with their opinion, then you're in the wrong.
But that's the exact thing they claim to be fighting against. And it's funny because you can go back to like every example in history of where that type of radical left wing fringe Leninism, Marxism, Maoism went wrong. It all starts that way with, hey man, like we deserve equality when there's already and then you're piling on in the complete wrong direction, and you end up oppressing people in the exact way you thought you were fighting against oppression. It's ridiculous. People don't even know what they're fighting against.
No. Remember, like, we would do some really like funny jokes at work. Remember all the pranks and shit we pulled on people? I mean, But there was a line that like wasn't crossed.
I have no
You know,
lines.
I mean,
No, I know what you're saying.
maybe
Remind me
maybe
of some
me
prank.
taking
What were some good?
Ozzy's clothes while he was showering and hiding his clothes.
It's funny, man. Like I really, it hurts me sometimes how bad my memory is from like back in the day because I'll think like I remember these great stories, but I know I'm losing 90% of what I've experienced,
You don't
especially.
remember? So Ozzy was showering in the locker room,
I think I
and
remember that.
I went in. I grabbed his clothes from the bench and his towel, and hid them out on the loading dock.
And he came out yelling,
Or we would sit in engineering
John.
back office, and smoke cigarettes, and
Yes.
watch the football games.
Watch John lose money on the football games. Yes, I remember those days well. He's never
Yo,
gonna.
I have
He's never gonna listen to this, by the way. But have you ever? Never mind. Go ahead. Sorry, I don't want to
I
rip him.
I have Don's book.
Is he
Don
around
wrote a
still?
book.
Yeah, is he around
Yeah,
still? He passed.
yeah.
Damn. Shit. How long ago?
I think like a year or two ago.
I never read it. He was so nice. I actually felt bad because when I had left there, his wife, he got his wife to get me a job at Home Depot where she worked, and then I blew it off. I was like, fuck, I don't want to work at Home Depot, and I felt so bad because I knew he was bothered about it because like he went out of his way to get me the interview. I felt bad. Don Hurley.
Early Heath.
See, I remember some stuff. I hung out in his office every night. That was my man. Talking about sitting somewhere smoking cigarettes. I sat in Don's office and chain smoked for 6 hours. But he was a retired New York
Blue.
detective, and he had the best stories in
Oh my
history,
god, dude, they're all in his book.
and they're in the book.
Every story he told us is in his
Is
book.
the
It's
beautiful
called,
is the beautiful cock story in the book? I guarantee you, it's not.
Beautiful.
He talked about a dead man they had to like, and was in the hospital, right? Like a homicide victim, and they pull up the blanket to look at the body, and he says, "What a beautiful cock." Is that right? Is that the story? That's not in the book. I guarantee it.
Cool shit.
Don felt
He
like
was in
my
the
grandpa, dude.
Korean War.
Korean War veteran. He had a story. I love just sitting here in stories. Beat working.
But
How about my man Yvonne? Is Yvonne still around?
Yvonne's a good dude.
Yvonne was
I don't know.
the homie.
You would know better.
Oh, John, I like that. I like that. I still actually have done that imitation pretty recently. That's stuck in my vocabulary. He stayed there a long time, I think, even after.
Him and Jacob, yeah. Jacob went and opened Matt Featherston's hotel in West Virginia with me and Sandra.
Oh, wow.
D-Bird.
Who?
D-Bird. Sandra.
Oh, yeah? Y'all went and opened that? Oh, I remember D-Bird. Shit. See, there's another one. Although I would have remembered Sandra again. We had fun time. D-Bird. Wow. I made that name up. I make up names for everybody. That was mine, D-Bird. In fact, she used to get mad when other people called her D-Bird. She'd say, only John can call me D-Bird.
Right.
And it's funny because her name was Sandra. It wasn't even D. I started calling her Sandra D for some stupid reason, and then I shortened it to D-Bird.
Was it Greece?
Hmm?
Was it from Greece? Sandra D?
I think it was. It sounded right, and then we shortened it up to D-Bird. It's funny. How about Nikki? Remember Nikki? The banquet manager lady? Dark hair?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Me and Nikki used to hang out all the time. This is going to sound worse than it is. She was much older. Here's the funny. Nikki was older. Not much older. She had like kids. She's probably in her 35. I was 20. It is funny, though, because I used to read books back then, and I'm not going to remember the name of this book. And she was always like recommending books to me, and I recommended a couple her. And I happened to read this really good book. I don't remember what it was called, but in the book, it was like this young dude was having an affair with like this older woman or whatever. And I was like, she's like, oh, is it a good book? Like, I'm trying to remember the story, but I ended up like loaning her the book. And I think she had said something to somebody like, that she thought maybe I was trying to tell her something. And I was like, I wasn't even thinking about that when I told her it was a good book. But think she thought maybe I was trying to send her a secret message about
It was
cougars.
always really nice, you know?
She was sweet.
It was always really nice. Yeah.
And crazy.
With
What's
the
her name?
amount of shit that we all had to deal with, and I really didn't pay much attention to it as a houseman, I guess, or even like a bartender or server when I started, like, you know, climbing up, and then
Server was not above houseman.
Banquet captain
Right.
I became. But like just the way Paul would be, he'd be like, "Come on, I'll show you how it's done," and I'm like, eye roll, you know, like that's when the eye roll emoji should have came out.
Right.
And it's like, this is what the fuck are you gonna teach me, Paul? You know. I remember Anthony and I were driving to work one day. We're going down Palmetto, and we seen this dude on a bicycle, shirt off.
It was Paul.
Hairiest man beast ever, dude. We thought like a squatch just like came out of like the woods, and it was Paul. And Anthony slowed down, and I scream out the window, "Put a shirt on! You're fucking scaring people."
I don't know if you're gonna get this, but Paul's the type of dude where, like, if you were just hanging out outside somewhere, like, he'd just whip out his dick and piss in front of you. Do you know what I mean? He's just that kind of guy. I feel like.
And then he'd laugh about it. He'd be like,
yeah, he like piss right in front, like not turn his back, like whip it out in front of you and piss. He's that type of dude for sure.
He had some really good ones. Remember, we got him, dude. You played the role of a chick.
Oh my God! Don't tell people that. You make me sound like such a fucking weirdo. Yes.
No, yes. It was just to bait him. We catfished Paul.
Yes, we catfished him.
Or catfishing was cool, just to fuck with him. And right when you said to him, like on the Hearts game, you were like, "Let that marinate in your brain." And I was in the office while he was playing Hearts.
Yes.
And he looks right at me and he's like, "That's fucking John Katz, isn't it?" And I just like, dude.
Because he would say, "Let that marinate," and I use this term on him. I still say, "Let shit marinate." I never want.
You got to say, "Let it marinate," because if you don't, people just react. They're like reactive. Like there's a lot of people that don't look at both sides of the situation before making judgment, or you know, and it happens in many things, like everyday work, or you know, at the gas station. Like, you know how many people I met just living in Boca at a gas station that didn't know how to pump their own gas, dude?
Well, they might have to be from Jersey if they didn't know how to pump gas.
Right, you know, or New York, and like, you know, never had a car, always subway or taxi, you know.
That's true.
I'm like, yeah, there's directions right here. You know, you could follow them, right? Like, you made it this far in life, to 60. You know, do this, do that, boom. You know, you gotta let it marinate.
I never, Paul and everyone, I never wanted to be a server. They asked me within 3 days of being a houseman, they wanted me to be a server. You know what I mean? Because houseman, this is not a racial comment, but it was more for like people that didn't speak English and couldn't deal with clients and stuff necessarily. So, you know, I was happy to be like the lead houseman because I could like talk to people, and you grab your clipboard and you do your own thing and you set your own pace. You look at the schedule, you set the rooms. I just hate, especially I didn't want to talk to people and like be in a part and like have to deal with like Paul and Nikki and all these people on my ass and like running in and out. It was very low key, slow paced job. It was a good gig, man. The money wasn't bad, dude. When they made me lead houseman, I got a percentage of the price. You guys used to get a cut. I used to get a cut, and then I negotiated it up too. They were mad. I was like the newbie. I was like the top houseman. It was good money for a 20-year-old. I'll tell you that.
Dude, when I became a server, man, that tip pool.
I remember y'all used to get some fat checks, those big wedding nights and stuff.
$25, $30 an hour for the week, you know, and we were putting in good hours.
And you're talking about a 20-year-old in 1999 making $25, $30 an hour. That was a good chunk of change.
I showed Mike O'Brien my check once, and it was when John Elway came
Yeah.
in for that
I tell
convention.
people I got to sit with him in private and talk to Elway for like 5 minutes by myself. He was just in the bank room eating out of those candy dishes, and I
Yep.
literally started talking. He was like, "Sit down." I just like sat with him at an empty banquet table, no one in the room, just eating candies and bullshitting about the Broncos. It was amazing. Sorry, go ahead.
He got out of. I think he sponsored. He was it Milwaukee's? No, Coors Light, something like that. When he pulled up
Yeah, he had the
in his,
can.
his rental car, he had like Bud Light cans in his car.
Yeah, I remember the floor of his car had a bunch of empty beer cans, and everybody was talking about it. That's funny. He's a
They're like,
cool
he's not
dude.
even drinking what he sponsored.
Nah, just the fact that he was rolling and drinking, such an Elway move. Yeah, we met a good amount of celebrities there at a lot of those fundraisers. With Franco Harris, got to talk to him at some wedding or event. The legendary Steelers running back, a bunch of baseball guys, like Ryan Klesko, and I don't know. They were always showing up, like corporations, and not even at these weddings. Like corporations would hire them to come in and like talk at these, you know, motivational events and things like that. They
I
get
ever tell you my Michael Moore story?
the
Like
boxer.
the boxer? Yeah.
I don't think so. He was a
So,
bad though. Bad good meaning. Michael Moore back in the
so
day.
oh yeah, back in the day. Up here, at my convention center, we do the Boxing Hall of Fame, which is here in Canastota, New York. We do their awards dinner. It's like 1,000 people, like 5 course, like really good stuff. Um, so years ago, when I lived down in Florida, uh, I was at Sidebar in Fort Lauderdale, Hammershies, drinking. My buddy Greg was like head of security or whatever, and I'm like wasted, like hanging out with Greg by the front door, and I go to like walk away, and bump into some dude. Some dudes bump into me, I look at them, and I'm just like blotto, and I'm like, I'll fight anybody.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who it was. And I was like, and he's like, yo, sorry. And I'm like, yeah, you're damn right, you're sorry, like, fuck out of here. So I kept like walking away. And I'm like, and he like looks back at me, and I was like, fuck you, bro. And
The physique
my buddy,
wasn't the physique and the fucking chiseled up face
dude,
wasn't enough to scare you off.
I'm like 6'1", I'm like, at the
Yeah,
time
yeah,
I was like six
yeah.
one, two hundo,
Right,
220.
right.
And I was pissed drunk on Hennessy, and at
Yeah,
that point, like I'll fight anything,
right.
even myself.
Yeah,
But my buddy comes up to me, he's like, you know who the fuck that was? After they left. And I'm like, who? He's like, Michael Moore. I go, yo, I almost knocked out a boxer, bro.
yeah. You wish.
Skip ahead, like for the last 4 years when we do their banquet.
Right.
Like I'm, at the time I was in charge of all of banquets for the catering department up here. And I would help, the stage get served. And I'm like delivering Michael Moore's dinner to him, put it down in front of him and walked away. And that was my piece. I'm like, you know what? I punked you
Yeah.
years ago in a bar.
Funked him. Oh man, he did you a
And now
favor.
here's your fish.
That guy did you a huge favor. I've said
Dude,
on here.
later on that night, his entourage kicked someone's ass in another club.
It makes sense the entourage did, not him. I was saying on here before, the toughest dudes usually are not the ones to just fucking punch some stranger. Sometimes, like if you're crazy Connor and you're on coke and stuff, but generally the most dangerous dudes are the calmest because they know if they really have to, they could just fuck you up. So they're not trying to prove anything. They're just like, whatever. I'll wait and see if this guy actually puts his hands on me.
You gotta practice Krav Maga.
Yeah.
Bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
It's like stuff that,
For sure. Israeli shit.
everybody could benefit from. And it's, for those that don't know, it's like really in close fighting technique.
And that was Israeli Special Forces, right? They're using that Krav Maga, aren't they? Krav Maga. Isn't that what they were using in like Born Identity and shit?
It originated there, but they also teach it in, you know, what is it, 27 other, you know, regions around Israel.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they all practice it too. So it's spread out over into Russia. And I got buddies here that practice it, and they do their own kind of mix jujitsu and stuff in with it too.
Yeah.
But it's good to know if you're ever at an ATM and someone comes up and points a gun in your back, you now know what you could do.
Right.
You know,
give them your money,
or turn around and make
disarm them,
you know?
And shoot their dick off. I tell girls all the time, if like a dude gets in your face, I'm like, your forehead's really fucking strong, and so are your elbows, you know, in tight space, right? So like if a guy grabs you, you have to go into crazy mode, right? Just go crazy, bite their fucking nose off, do whatever. But also, but if you jam, even a girl, if you jam your forehead into like a grown man's mouth and nose, just knock their teeth, split their shit. I mean, it's gonna hurt anybody. You have a really thick forehead compared to like someone's face, especially like the mouth area, the nose area. You can fuck someone up. Throw some elbows.
Or go to your local flea market and pick up a 8 million volt taser for $20, you know,
or a 380 to stick in your handbag. No, everybody should be protecting themselves. I got in a debate with this girl online the other day on Instagram. I can't talk to these people, Patty. We were talking about, this is an interesting topic, actually. Florida down here, Governor DeSantis, I don't know if you saw, he's looking to pass this new legislation. Did you see this? The girl was trying to say, oh, he's trying to ban protests and make protests a felony. I said, without even looking at what you're talking about, I know that's not true. It's like, you know, the First Amendment. You can't make protesting a felony. Are you nuts? You can't even make it a crime. So I go, send me the article. So I'm looking at the article, and it basically is trying to make it a felony. 3 things become a felony. 1, if you're at a protest and you break any property, it's a felony. If you hurt someone, it's a felony. But here's the one people are getting upset about. If you stop traffic or stop a car, he wants it to be a felony, right? I don't have a problem with that. You shouldn't be stopping cars. Now, in addition, part of the bill he's trying to pass is then it becomes not a felony to run someone over that does attempt to stop your car. So not only is the person stopping the car is the felony, you can now run a motherfucker over. Now, you could always run someone over in Florida in a stand your ground state if you thought your life was in danger. And I'll say this again. If anyone listening, if someone tries to stop your car and it's not a cop, do not stop. Maybe slow down, give them a chance to get out of the way. You don't need to be getting dragged from your car and soccer kicked in the head and having your pants pulled down on YouTube. You don't need to be getting there are 38,000 carjackings a year in this country. You don't need to be another statistic. If someone's standing in front of your car where they're not supposed to be, slow down a little bit. Make sure your door is locked. If you see anything in their hand, by the way, if you see something in their hand, don't even slow down. Just gun that shit. If they don't get out of the way, that's on them. Explain it later what happened. But people think she's going, oh, this is going to give white supremacists a free license to purposely run people over and then use this law as an excuse. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't happen. She's like, you ever heard of Heather Heyer? I'm like, bruh. Again, you got to bring up one girl that, by the way, a white girl that got run over by a white dude, who somehow that's an act of white supremacy. And it happened 4 years, like, still bringing that up? No one's getting run down in this. If anything, people are getting their cars stopped and getting their cars and bodies fucked up. Seen a lot of those videos.
What about the lady flipping off the Trump supporters? See that? When's today?
It's like, when's the last time you saw people on Trump's side going out there like hurt? All you hear is, oh, Trump's trying to turn this into a fascist society. His people are threatening. It's like, I've never seen any Trump people out anywhere hurting anybody, like breaking anything, hurting anybody.
There was a group of protesters, or not protesters, but Trump supporters. some lady is driving by and she takes both hands off the wheel and she's flipping them off and she's like, fuck you, you know, blah, blah, blah. And not looking forward, hits the car in front of her. And there was a cop behind her, thank God, you know, turns his lights on, writes her a ticket, you know, like, come on, lady. Like, we're like, you can't stop stupid, though, you know?
It's not even stupid. People are hysterical and they're all emotional. Like, I saw a video just the other day, a new one. A guy on the plane with the MAGA mask on, you know, and the lady sitting next to him, she was in the window, he was in the aisle because the distancing. And she started saying shit about his mask, and I think he said something about him being a veteran, and he was a combat veteran. And she said on camera, she said, "You should have died in Afghanistan." He's like, "What? Say that again." My point is, for people to be saying that to people and that kind of stuff, and to that level of like, and it's all because he supports a president. Like, that's how hysterical people are. They're like, here's a man that did the most brave thing ever, served the country, and because he supports our president, not even like a serial killer, our president, it's half the country, you're not telling him he should die? He should have died. When he was like, what are people doing, man? How does this woman function in society if she's that sensitive and emotional that she can't see a word on a mask without telling someone they should die? Go ahead, sorry.
But the thing is, who, in the first place, who the fuck is she to even open her mouth to voice her?
Well, that's what I mean.
Opinion like that. You know what I'm saying? Like if I saw someone that had something on that I didn't agree with, I just mentally wouldn't agree with it. You know, like I don't know that person from a hill of beans. You know, like
it's because you're a normal human. You're a normal human being.
Me to like spout off at the mouth to someone who supports something. Everyone supports something in this world, and what is life if you can't support something you like or believe in? Whether it's, you know, like fucking Snapple or, you know, like
right.
What's next? Someone's gonna be, you know, people are going to be outside Burger King's fucking throwing McDonald's patties at them. Like, fuck you, fuck Burger King, go to McDonald's.
You don't know what's going to be considered offensive tomorrow. Look, I'm all for freedom of expression and speech. Obviously, people should express differing opinions. But I don't get the impulse to, like, be so fucking nasty to everybody. And I guess my point is we're talking about they're crying out that one side is nasty, but they're the only ones being nasty about anything.
Worst opinion, man.
I've never seen so much. It's so bad. Like, and if you say anything, they scream, and it's louder and it's louder, and it's always like the same.
But I mean, to be like non-biased, I'm sure it's like that, you know, on the complete other end of the spectrum, you know, where
100%. There's idiots on every side. It seems like it's a larger percentage. And also, even though the right is nasty, they don't try to silence the other people. You know what I mean? If they come in with the personal attacks, or they're not trying to silence people and cancel fucking
speech, man.
Right, because they at least respect the fact that, like, it's healthy to hear other opinions. That's how people work through shit. That's how people come up with better solutions. If everyone's just going to only allowed to say one thing, we're never going to accomplish anything. It's ridiculous. It's tough, man. I think they're looking at a big landslide in a couple months, and I will still be surprised if Joe makes it to the election, because they might have to replace him when they see him in a debate. If he makes it to the debate, either he's not going to show up to debate, which disqualifies any candidate, in my opinion. If you can't debate, you can't be president. Or he shows up and people are like, oh, shit.
Like, you can't even put a sentence together, dude.
Right. You know? And everyone I tell this to, they're like, look at your boy Trump. He said this and this. Like, I talk to smart people who are Democrats, and they'll go, look at Trump. And they'll send me quotes. I'll go, of course Trump says dumb shit. Of course he makes mistakes. Of course he says things, but he knows where he is, bruh. Listen, I watched a press conference today of Trump, and he's calling names. He's like, you, no, not you, no, talk to. Biden's up there. He's like, Debbie, is the, oh, you know, it's like, It's not the same thing, bro. Yes, Trump says stupid shit that makes no sense, of course. And he's not as sharp as he was when he was 50, fine. But he knows where he is. He knows he's talking. He's a normal human that you can ask a question and interact with. Like, if they put him on an unrehearsed stage, one-on-one in a pressure situation like that, Joe, I don't see how people... And actually, I do see how. Because when I ask people, they go... People that are honest will say, I don't care. I don't care. They'll just say, I hate Trump so much, I don't care. And I'll let Kamala and whoever's around them run the show. Right? That's the honest answer, because they have to know. They have to see what we're seeing. You know, when you're old, not just old, when you're senile, how your mouth, like, you see that mouth agape and, like, the vacant eyes like that. Like, always trying to figure out what the hell you're doing. Like, that's the look. He didn't... If you really want to see damning evidence on Joe, watch him 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah, compared to now.
And it's like, oh, wow. So he's not just like that. Because everyone's like, oh, he's always been a gaffe machine. That's just how he is. It's like, no. Watch him when Obama was president. Forget even... Watch, like, the beginning of Obama, but even just 4 years ago, 5 years ago, he could talk. He could spit out a sentence. Sure, he said dumb stuff.
Did you see that video of him reading off the total lives lost to COVID in the military?
Every time he says the lives lost, it's millions. Yes, the military lost millions.
As he's reading it off at the podium, he's like looking over for confirmation, and it's like he's not even getting all of the whole sentence done, and he's like, yeah, 6,114.
Right. But here's what's
like,
crazy.
Dude.
No one stops to question it. That's how protective they are of him. Like, no one ever questions him of it in these interviews. No one ever goes like, wait, did you just say 50 million military died? Like, no one ever stops and asks him a question. But also...
And they're like, 7.
The craziest part... it really was like 7. The craziest part is... when he does those speeches where he's just completely in another world and naming off numbers, he's reading that shit. That's what people don't understand. It's one thing when Trump gets up there at a rally and goes 3 hours with no prompter and he's just rattling off. Of course, in there he's gonna say some. Biden's got like a tight 5 minutes and he's reading it off a piece of paper and he's still saying that. Like, it's, if you're reading it and you still get it that wrong, like, what are you going to do when they just throw you out there in a meeting with, like they keep saying, put him in a room with, like, some other world leader? He's got to, like, negotiate some important deal. What are they going to do? It's crazy. And then you're supposed to be president for, people elect a president usually for 2 terms, not just 1 term. 1 term. Almost always. They assume a guy's going to hopefully serve 2 terms if they're lucky. But there's no way this guy could do 2. Imagine him even in 2 or 3 years. So it's really, they're counting on winning an election based on hating Trump. It's really what it is. There are no Joe Biden fans. Even the biggest Trump hater in the world isn't like, yeah, man, I love me some Joe Biden. He's going to really change the world. Like, no one thinks that. Nobody thinks that.
Yeah.
There's not, even Hillary had some, like, rabid Hillary people. There's no Joe fans. So, like, it really is. It's a vote for Trump or a vote. And I don't think a vote against is strong enough. It's not a big enough motivator. People vote because they want a person and they like that person and they're really like, man, I want to get behind this movement. Just disliking someone's not enough.
Watch Kanye.
What's that?
I would rather watch Kanye just to be like, hey, it's going to be something different all the time and it's energetic, it's not like a zombie at a podium,
The Dems did themselves such a disservice by having 3 years, 3+ years. Trump basically said, fuck the mold. You can be anybody. You can be a celebrity. You can be a real estate guy, whatever. They should have taken that model and went, all right, let's find ourselves the younger, more dynamic, more energetic, like anti-Trump. Like, let's get a really dynamic, fun, young, celebrity, someone from the private industry. They don't have to be a celebrity. They could be a CEO of a company.
Yeah, whatever.
A million things. And then they come back with Joe and Bernie and Warren, like the same old crowd, and they're all old white people. Like, This woke party of the young minority or whatever, their whole stage is all white people. It's like, if they would have really got themselves like someone that could relate, people think Joe's going to win. They're like, yeah, the black and Hispanic vote. Like, they can't relate to Joe any more than they relate to Troy. Probably relate to Trump more. Where Trump came from. At least he's a New York City boy. Or Joe from Delaware. He's like from the whitest state in the fucking country.
He went to Syracuse University.
I guarantee you in their lives, I know for sure Trump dealt with and was friends with and worked with 10 million more minorities than Joe Biden in Delaware. Come on. Guy's in New York City in entertainment. He's named in 100 and something rap songs. That's the other thing he said. You know, he gave an interview recently with, did you see the guy from Barstool Sports, Dave Portnoy? I don't know how you say that, Portnoy, I think, but Dave Portnoy. He does Barstool and he does like all these other videos and stuff. He interviewed Trump at the White House. And what he was saying is exactly what we're talking about. Like, before he became president, Trump was saying, you know, he'd go into Yankee Stadium. People would be like excited to see him and cheer a little bit, whatever. Like, he could go anywhere. And he was in rap songs and everybody loved him. And it was like a day after, and even the people that didn't like him, they didn't hate him. You know, they probably just thought he was like a bozo. But he decided to run and he gave that opening speech. And he's saying like the next day he's walking with his wife and he gets booed. They hear people booing. And Melania turns to him and was like, wow, I've never heard anyone boo you before, you know? And now it's like times 10,000. But in 4 decades of working in the most diverse city on earth, maybe, definitely.
Yeah.
No one ever said he's a white supremacist. No one ever said he's a racist, a messiah. None of this was ever leveled at the man one single fucking time till he decided to run as a Republican. And they labeled him that day one. So you look at why would a guy want to trade that in, even if he only had $1 billion and not the 10 billion he says. Why at 70 years old you could take that $1 billion and go kick back for eternity. And then you take the toughest job in the world and catch all this hatred and you still want to do it. And people are like, nah, he's selfish. It's weird. It's a weird thing. They just don't like the way he talks.
Some of, you know, systems or way of doing things, you know, unorthodox. Sure. You know, but what's to say that everything everyone's been doing this whole time was right in the first place? You know, like, how many shady back end closed door deals have been going on in DC, and nothing gets approved or pushed over to the next office down or the next desk until you line my pocket. You know, like, that's how fucking deals work.
Our political system is broken. It's all about, I was talking about that with my buddy Jake on here. It's the power, the money. They don't give a shit. They want to get reelected. They want power. They want money. Nobody cares about any. It's all a game. It's a complete game to them. And who's to say, by the way, all these people that become politicians until Trump, and you know, 99% of them, they go get law degrees and stuff, right? And then they get into like public service and they become these junior state this and this city council that, whatever. And it's like, people go, oh, Trump can't be president. It's like, I don't care. Forget Trump. Give me a guy with 40 years of real world experience where he's reached a pinnacle of whatever industries he was in. And then you're going to act like he's inferior in some way, you know, on a resume level to some dude who went into like public service out of school and was like organizing events and just debating people. And like, the guy never had to hire people and put a budget together and employ people. And it's like,
right,
it's so much more valuable, all that real world experience, for some dude who sat in the room pontificating his whole life. And then people act like that's somehow superior. Give me more real world people, and don't even have them be Republicans or Democrats. Just bring in everybody that's like successful in real life and let them figure shit out.
Right.
Half these people never had a real job before.
It's completely honest, though. You know, it's the truth. It's it's crazy how, I mean, it's got to be a little saddening as you go through wanting to be a politician, and you're young, you're energetic, and you get your feet wet, and then you start noticing all the fuckery going on, and you're like, damn, now I'm trapped. Now I'm shaking
You think
hands
it's
and
still
kissing babies just to get a check signed in my name,
I feel like it used to work that way back when people were more naive. Like they would get in as an idealist, and then they were like, "Oh, it's corrupt," and they kind of. I feel like now they're just starting that way. It's like I'm just gonna game the system. Like their intention from the jump is just like I want to be a powerful politician. They're not trying to help anyone's life. Maybe I'm generalizing. I'm sure there's plenty of good people.
I'm sure there is too, but at some point they have to know that wherever they're going, whatever event they're going to,
right,
that it's bullshit, and they're just doing it to get liked. It's
right.
like being like a social media celebrity or something. You're just posting something for like, how many likes can I get? And,
it became a thing about being famous just for being famous. Like not even.
Right. Like how many people are famous on Instagram that you scroll through all their posts and you don't even see a headshot. You just see like, a tattoo model with, 7 million followers, and you're like, got all this money now because like,
well, they started naming them influencers. It became like just so they could like legitimize it as like a real thing. It's like if you get enough social media followers, so that people will pay you to be like, all right, girls, try this new fucking shampoo. And like, you don't even ever try it yourself, but like, you just got paid $100,000 to put that shit on your Instagram. Like,
look at Kylie Jenner, bro.
Yeah, but at least she had a real business that she started. You know what I mean, though?
He wouldn't have sold as much.
Oh, no, she wouldn't have. But I mean, there are people who are famous literally just for putting like pretty pictures of themselves with their big ass.
Right. Or, having a sex tape with Ray J. Or,
I can't hate on them for fucking segueing that thing.
I hate that whole dynasty, dude.
You know what? Again, I don't have to agree with people to respect the work they did. Like,
right.
And actually, Kim does good shit now. Her and Yeezy.
Yeah. Her, advocacy and all
her advocacy. Apparently, she's getting her law degree. Or got it, or is getting it. She's in law school now. She's trying to get her law degree.
Jenner.
I don't think we're allowed to call him Bruce. I'm going to get my show canceled. What about him?
Oh, Caitlyn. Sorry.
No. What about him?
Do you think that Caitlyn made the transition?
I was joking. We can call him Bruce because he killed that person.
Because that was the only out,
I was just talking about this the other day. He did. It definitely was just a distraction. He killed someone in a vehicular homicide and was never charged or anything. I don't know. Dude, I can tell you this, not to get too far into the transgender thing. It's a touchy subject. There is a 0% chance that when Bruce Jenner was winning the Olympic decathlon and throwing a discus around, that he thought he was a woman at that time. I don't care what the man said. He did not think he was a woman in 1984. I'm making up the year. I don't know when he was a badass. He didn't. Period. This thing that's become like, forget it. That's a whole nother rant, man.
Do you think, though, that he was sitting there one day and was like, this dynasty has gotten so huge. There's no way that I could divorce this woman. She's a psycho, blah, blah, blah. Like, what can I do? And then he's like, boom, just came to him, in a drink.
I think there was a lot of factors. In his particular case, I think there was a lot of strange factors that went into it, yeah. Between living in that shadow all that time, maybe some sort of mental issues as well, and then also, killing those people in the car, that lady. Not the people, the lady. There was probably a lot that went into it. He's a strange. She's a strange cat. One of the funniest jokes. You ever watch those Comedy Central roasts?
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to remember who said the joke because it would be better if I remembered it. I think someone wrote it for him, but Bruce Jenner was on the stage, and they said Bruce, or they said Caitlyn. Sorry, it was Caitlyn Jenner was on the stage. They said Caitlyn's finally here. She had her operation finally. You know what she did? She had her operation, finally proving once and for all that none of the Kardashian women want a white dick. Oh, it was so good. Yeah. Yeah. Other than Courtney. Courtney is Scott. But see, there's like a good funny joke about race that's not racist. This is what I was trying to explain to people. You should be able to joke about stuff. It's the minute people get too uptight that they start getting offended by everything.
Right.
The more people can just kind of make fun of themselves, make fun of each other, all in a lighthearted way.
It's all good fun.
Like, I look at you, I look at, like, I mean, every job I ever had, every white dude I ever worked with, I couldn't name one racist. You know what I mean? Like, an actual racist dude. Like, sure, people said off-color remarks, but that's the point. That's not actually racism. That's a different thing. So, like, I have a big problem with this idea that most people are racist. I think it's a teeny, 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 tiny percentage of people that actually do racist stuff and actually do anything to anybody of a different skin color or religion that hurts them in any kind of adversarial way at all. Like, if you're actually contributing to a racism issue, and anyone can be racist of any creed or color, so not just one direction, but I don't see it. I don't see it, man.
So when I lived in Boca on, like right over by the Marriott, behind the mall on Verde Trail, next to where Andre lived, I remember going home one night, and I was home. Jason was jogging. He comes running in out of breath. I'm like, "What's going on?" You know? And he was like, "I'm running up Verde Trail. As I'm getting closer, I see some dude, like, standing in the light, you know,
right?
Because it was dark, like, and I get closer and closer, and it's a bald dude jacking off.
Oh wow!
Over a spray painted swastika on the road.
Bullshit.
Like, what, dude? We got in the car, went looking for this dude, couldn't find him. Swastika was there. I called the cops to have them remove it because it had already been like 4 days.
He was probably shaking the paint can, bro. There's no way this dude was jerking off on that thing.
Worded it.
Huh?
But that's how Jason worded it.
He had to be shaking that spray paint, like, you know, like, there's no way I mean, I for sure could see someone spray painting the swastika, especially a dumb kid with the, I don't know, jerking on that thing.
Anyways, I was really, like, appalled that nobody made an effort to, like, clean it up.
Right.
You know? And, like, I had to call, and I'm like, yo, can you do something about this? It's been here for, like, a week. People are driving by all day.
Yeah.
Boca, which is, like, one of the biggest I never met a Jewish person until I moved to Boca.
Nobody cares. Really? Even in New York?
Right.
Oh, you're up in the sticks, though. Yeah, but no one cares about the Jews, man. I'm telling you. We catch it from both sides. You could say whatever you want about us.
What I'm saying is, I think, you know, there's been a whole lot of crazy for a long time.
Individuals are crazy as shit. There's a ton of them out there.
Right.
But like I always say, you can if you want to look at statistics, and you can sensationalize anything. So, like, there's really, you know, much worse issues. I looked up the stat, and I brought it up in here before. Look at home burglaries, right? A home invasion burglary, occurs every 26 seconds in this country. There's a burglary. Every 26 seconds. 2 a minute. right? So it's like, what if it's, I think it was like 40, I don't remember, you could do the math, whatever, thousands and thousands of it is a year, but imagine if you covered it that way, like people would be really, really afraid. I guess there are things statistically that you should actually be wary of, such as having your home burglarized, because it happens a lot. And then there's things statistically you shouldn't be worried about, like a skinhead jerking off and a swastika stabbing you in the neck because you're a minority, which almost never happens, right? So like, people should be looking at reality and then acting accordingly. If we take something that happens 4 times a year and we make it like it's the biggest issue in the country, we already lost. We're already fucked. We're not addressing anything. And we don't even take issues that happen 1,000 times a day and do that, much less that happen 0 times a day. But we could do that with almost anything. Like you said, individual people, individual bad behavior, that's not going anywhere. There's going to be rapists and murderers and molesters and home invaders and it's like, you can't protest that away. You can't legislate it away. If anything, you should be looking at, okay, how do we like fix environments? If we're going to do anything, how do we make this environment better? So maybe some of these kids don't grow up with parents who don't give a fuck about them. And then we'll have less people whose parents didn't give a fuck about them. And now they're out there doing some crazy shit, because you could reduce those numbers, but by acting like by the way, even if some cops are racist, and even if let's say 5 racist cops a year kill people because they profile them for racism or whatever, okay, now what about the other 99.9999% of people who got a problem? Like, in other words, you get rid of those 5 occurrences and you haven't helped anybody. It's symbolic, but you could help huge swaths of people and millions of people if you had a different type of message, in my opinion.
Well, like what are all the protesters bringing to the table? You know, like
no.
While that's going on, people like us are working. You know, we're providing for our families, our households, paying taxes, providing, doing our part to society.
Yep.
Then you go and burn down Minneapolis.
They're mostly peaceful, Pat. Come on.
$5 million for, to rebuild Minneapolis. Okay, well, hit up BLM and Antifa for that money.
So I just said the other day, people go, it's mostly peaceful. I go, if 99% are peaceful and 1% causes billions in damage and kills and hurts thousands of people, don't we still have a problem? Like, like you said, what are they accomplishing? I asked this question on here for a long time. People got upset, which was people I know got upset, and people I barely know, which is, what do they want, bro? You can't have a protest without a demand. And you can't keep using abstract words like, this is a reckoning. We want a racial reckoning, and we want justice and equality. Great. Like I always say, if you took a poll right now of all Americans, Republican, Democrat, you name it, and you said, how many people want equality for all races? It'd be a 99% to 1 poll, right? Everyone wants that, and the 1% would be fucking trolling you. So we all want that. But you can't have protests and for months and tell everyone there's no equality and then not say, here's what we want you to do. You have to give people an out. You have to say, okay, do you agree with us? Fine. Yes, we all agree with you that you don't feel equal. How can we make you feel equal and help you through this reckoning? Well, we just want you to keep recognizing it over and over and over again every day. It's like the point of the protest has become the protest itself. It's like, we just want you to be upset. And it's too much wrapped into politics in the election, in my opinion. As soon as somebody says, here's what we need you to do, people will do it. Here's the law we want you to change. Here's the policy we need from you. There's none of that. There's no demands. And they keep going, this all started back when, civil rights, this person, those people have real demands and real laws they need to change. And these NBA guys are like, oh, look at, what Kareem and these guys. No, those guys had they had real issues to deal with in their day. You just want everyone to harken back to it and go, yeah, you're right. You all had a shitty fucking break. Is that the whole purpose of it?
Did you read that article about the suite owners at the Utah Jazz? Did not like they don't want their suite anymore.
I did not see that.
So in the last 25 years, the steel company that helped build the arena there has owned a suite. Okay. They spent over $7 million or whatever in the last 20 something years, like owning. They just said we don't want our suite anymore. And, pretty much like go after yourself as a arena.
Oh, because they got all political on them.
Not even political, but like they just don't want to sit there and have people disrespect the flag, you know, and you know they were pretty much like you're just a bunch of grown, overpaid athletes who are just doing this for just play the game. Just play the game.
Right.
You get paid way too much. You know,
when you're not playing, say anything you want. Start a YouTube channel. Write a blog.
Right.
Express yourself all fucking day long.
Right. And it's not that I don't disagree with the end result of what they're trying to get to. By any means.
Right.
But there's a time and a place. Like of dollars a year to play basketball. Like, shut the fuck up, play the game. At the end of the game, like I tell my employees, everyone's got problems outside of work.
Right.
Leave your time clock. By all means, pick them up when you punch out and leave.
Well, it is funny when people try to say, "Oh, freedom of expression, You actually, you don't have freedom of expression at work. You do legally, but not to keep your job. So if I'm at work and I go, hey, this place fucking sucks, and also, by the way, I'm not going to do that assignment, I'm going to get on the ground and do 20 push-ups instead, you can fire me because I'm insubordinate and I'm not doing my job. So yeah, while you're on the clock, you can absolutely tell people what you want them to do. And if they don't like it, they're happy to leave. You're not going to go to jail. But
you're not going to get paid.
You're not going to get paid.
What about the $100,000 fine for Gruden and all them with the face mask?
Bro, don't even get me fucking started, man. The masks, I can't even talk about the masks. I'm going to get upset. My biggest issue with all these celebrities and athletes and everyone, I always say it, is they really do have a platform where they can help people in a real way. And I should honestly do myself a favor and research more people that are doing the right thing, because I always talk about Kevin Hart on here. I don't know if you heard me mention Kevin Hart or I tweeted about him and stuff, but like he's all about his whole message. I'm not going to repeat the whole thing, but he started an organization and they go into the inner cities and he's like, I want to give people the tools and the information that they need to have access to the things that I didn't have access. It's like, it's a real tangible way to help people. So like, here's how you use the banking system. Here's how you pay your tax. Here's how you open up a checking account. Here's how you invest in the market. Here's how you get a job and create a budget and all these real world things that are going to help people. And getting on TV, if you're LeBron James and going, yeah, we're all oppressed, and then kneeling and fucking saying, you're not helping anybody. You're just making people think they're more of a fucking victim than they probably even are. Whereas Chris is going there going, hey man, what do you need? Like his organization's going, what do you need? Here's how I did it. Every celebrity, everyone with a big following, their only message should be, you know what? Even if it's harder for you, you can still make something. You could still do something. I did it. Here's how I did it. Here's how you can do it. So people don't want that. People just want to be told, yeah, man, you're right. I have a right to be angry. I have a right to it's like you're doing so much more harm to people. I would say, think of it this way, because you're protesting to achieve something, right? Of every single NFL player, an NBA player that's kneeled during the flag or whatever, and that's fine. How many people do you think's lives improved because they kneeled on the fucking sideline? Has a single person's life gotten any better? If anything, they've caused more divisiveness. So they can. So to me, they can get on TV all day and say, yeah, but you don't understand. The flag isn't great for everyone if you lived in this country at a time when there was slavery or this and that. But you're not helping anybody. It's like, you can argue all day long about that I have the right to do this, fine, but what's your point of doing it? Unless it's doing something good for someone's life, what is your point? To cause more disharmony, to upset? You could, I'm justified, you know? I'm justified in doing it. You could, I'll give you that. Fine, you're justified. You can kneel during the flag. I don't care. Are you helping anyone? Like, what's the point? And you have 10 million followers on fucking Twitter, and you don't give them one good piece of advice. Sorry, go ahead.
Burn the Nikes, man.
I haven't been watching football the first time in my life. I have not been watching football. And it's not even, like, people think, I don't know what other people are doing, but people think, oh, it's like, you don't want to watch because you're, you know, Fox News watching Tucker Carlson. It's like, no, man, I'm just not feeling it. Like, I used to really be excited to watch my Redskins. Like, I don't feel excited. If I'm not excited, why am I going to watch?
The Redskins.
They'll always be the Redskins. I bet they go back to being the Redskins in 10 years when things calm down. I'll tell you this. I spoke to somebody about the, what the hell was I going to fucking say? What were we talking about? I'm going to edit this out because now I sound like an idiot. We're talking about the Redskins. I was talking to somebody. Here's what it was. I was talking to someone about, and I mentioned this before, how like different generations and how they're all such uptight pussy snowflakes now. It's really the millennials that are the pussy snowflake assholes. So like me and you were at the end of Gen X, right? We're at the tail end of Gen X. So like I'm a Gen Xer, you're like borderline, but you're definitely more Gen Xer. And then after us came the millennials, right? Those are the fucking dicks, right? The 28 to 35-year-old helicopter parent assholes, right? Who are like wanting full-on communism in this country and won't let you express an opinion. That's them. The young,
but their opinion heard.
Right, but apparently the younger people, the Gen Zers, right? The 17, 18, apparently they're going, people always buck and they don't want to be their parents, right? They kind of want to go the opposite direction. So apparently the teens are coming up more apolitical and are more into Trump. And like, it's become a weird thing. Like if you want to be counterculture now, like you're a Trump fan. So I think it's going to snap back in the other direction again. And I'm hoping in like 10 years, everyone's like, fuck yeah, it's the Redskins. What were you pussies talking about back in 2020? I really hope it does. It's enough already. You can't get offended about every single thing, right?
Right. Like we were always, don't sweat the small stuff, you know? Not that it's small stuff.
It is small.
Like there's so many things that people get way bent out of shape about that you shouldn't, you know? The only thing I really get bent out of shape about is driving.
Oh.
Like, I love driving, but I fucking hate people.
Listen, I'm with you. But that's because I'm impatient. But it's because people are so stupid, man.
Or on their phones, just fucking, you know, like...
I can't handle watching inefficiency. If it's driving, if it's at the airport trying to get on or off a plane, if it's people in line in the restaurant, I can't handle stupid, inefficient people making my day longer and making them their own days longer. I don't get in arguments with people, but it bothers me. And if you had audio in my car, you would hear me saying a lot of bad things, but, you know. I don't like pull up to people and fuck you, man. I'm not risking that.
Kind of videos is kind of fun though.
What's that?
Watching those kind of videos.
Yeah. I've binge watched the hell out of some road rage videos.
Like recent ones, you know, like just smashing windows, like crazy shit.
What kind of music you listen to these days, man? No, real shit. What are you listening to these days? You know new musicians? I don't know anybody.
A lot of Yellow Wolf, man. You know.
Oh yeah, that's your man's.
My dude. Chris Stapleton, some Tyler Childers, Pretty Lights.
Is it? Are
Um,
you naming obscure people, or am I just that unhip now that I'm old? Because I don't know a single person you just named. Are they famous, or are you just like too cool that you know obscure people?
no, they're
I think
famous for
I've heard
people.
Chris Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton, he's good.
I know songs. I just like if you played me a song, I would go, oh, "It's a good song," and I know some words. I couldn't tell you who sung it, and I could tell you every song prior to like '02 maybe. Up till about 20 years ago, my music just stops, and I listen to music every day, but it's 90% stuff that was from the '80s, '90s, or early 2000s.
Tupac.
Yeah, like the only current, and these aren't even current rappers. The only like current, they still do some music. I like Drake. I listen to me some Drake, like Lil Wayne. Those, but like that's not even new. Drake still
I
makes some bangers.
mean,
Wayne still
uh,
makes some bangers too.
Drake, 2 Chains. Um, I like the old hip
That's
hop
where it
too, man.
stops for me. Drake and Wayne, man.
Yeah, I don't really dig anything else. You know,
I listen to everything though. I listen to rock, but yeah, it's all stuff.
Pearl Jam.
I love Pearl Jam still, but I think everybody, because like I look at my parents and uncles in those generations, they still love their Beatles and their Stones and everything. I think whatever you listen to when you're 16, 18, 19, 15, 20, like that's always going to be your music, because it's like that's when you're really partying, listening to that shit hard and getting high, and like people
I mean,
always.
I grew up on a lot of Floyd, a lot of Pink
Yeah,
Floyd,
yeah,
uh, which I in turn grew a huge love for Floyd. Neil Diamond.
right.
Uh, my dad, I remember everywhere, my dad would be jamming Simon Garfunkel,
Yeah.
pretty cool shit. So a couple years ago, Paul Simon played at my work, and I
Oh
got my
wow.
mom and dad seats.
Sick.
I've seen so many cool ass shows at my work, dude. Uh, Tool, Perfect Circle. I met Wiz Khalifa, Juicy J.
Oh, sick. Saw
You see
Snoop.
that
Watch it.
Joe Rogan episode with Mike Tyson?
Oh, dude, we talked about it on here with my man for a long time. Yes, because I'm the diehardest Mike, and that was the best interview. I've seen all his interviews on Rogan, but yeah, I cannot wait for that exhibition match.
Yeah.
Quote, air
Dude,
quotes,
to
exhibition
be
match.
54 and in
What's
the best shape, like hitting like he was 20 again,
He's 53, I think. Yeah, I mean that's what we're saying. Like it's the anti-aging shit is real. That's just, if you're with the high-end dudes that really know what they're doing, the endocrinologist guys, just leveling up your testosterone and your growth hormone, and then all the other cutting-edge shit they're doing. If you get your hormone levels at the levels they were when you were in your 30s, you're going to be pretty close to what you were when you were in your 30s, unless you've done a lot of damage to yourself. And he's been chilling for so long too. Like he's probably better in so many ways, like as far as his joints having time to heal up. And yes, if you can move like that at that age, anything's possible. He's going to be swinging in there. I can't wait, man. I love me some Tyson. Speaking of nostalgia.
Yeah.
Those were the biggest events as a kid. I just remember when there was a Tyson fight coming on pay-per-view, or like you had to see that.
Who else? Who was the English guy with the dreads?
Lennox Lewis.
Lennox Lewis, man. He was a good boxer.
They were great. He was great. Holyfield was great. I still say Tyson beat himself at that point in his career. You give me that prime Mike just before Cuss passed, and even shortly thereafter when he was with the other Bull, before he stopped working out and doing all that coke and everything. No one was beating him. Everyone's like, yeah, you see Lennox's reach. Everyone's like, yeah, they exposed what happens when you get in there and you're a tall fighter and you can use the jab. It's like, what? No, man, he was the Tasmanian devil. He You could hit him with anything, and he was gonna take your fucking head off. I hate when people do that. You may not be able to say he was the best ever because of that, but I like to say best ever as in who for a short period was the best in their prime. Yeah, just in their prime, was he the best? Like, yeah, sure, he had his whatever. Like, that to me doesn't matter. I don't think anyone's beaten Tyson in his early 20s.
No.
24-year-old Mike Tyson.
On off the pillar in jail as he's like working out. Like, dude's a beast, man. He's always been a beast. Like, he's always like when Ivan Drago like hits the fucking punch meter and Rocky and like that was Tyson daily, you know?
People don't realize he had first of all, they don't realize what a gym rat he was. He did work harder than everybody. He wasn't just a talented guy. He was in the gym all day, every day from age 13 to 20-something. And it was all combinations. He wasn't throwing one punch, trying to knock someone out with one punch. It was all combinations. It was the most amazing footwork as well, and the head movement and the weaving. Like, he was a full... It wasn't just some dude coming in there hitting hard. And he did, and it's like it gets kind of lost in history. But people that live through it, they know what's up. We saw enough of those, man. It was like I remember being down here in Florida visiting my grandma, and like it was coming on, and she's like, "Oh, my friend's got Cinemax or whatever box, like it was like pre-cable boxes she could order it, or I don't know." We went over to like my grandma's 90-year-old friend's house and watched like 40 seconds Tyson like knocking this guy out in the first round, and we left.
I haven't like talked to you like on the phone or whatever
like 20 years.
Like
probably 16, 17 years.
Yeah, like 2004, Yeah.
Had to be around that. Wild, man. It's wild. It doesn't feel like it. You just kind of remember what people sound like.
Right. What's behind the shower curtain?
What shower curtain? That's a window shade. The blue thing? That's a window curtain, man. I'm moving in 2 weeks. I'm on a different setup. Moving next Saturday.
Oh, yeah?
It's going to look a little different in here. I think I'm going to do like a wooden, instead of the full flag, I'm just like a small, like a wooden flag thing, like more of an art piece. Need to alienate people. People won't come on because the flag, dude.
Really?
I think so. It's really bad. It's like, I've even tweeted stuff and people will be like, yeah, no, you lost me at the flag behind you, or like, but I've even had like some friends be like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't weigh in the mix. It's like, what do you mean? I just want to have you on boat. It's like, I think people do see the flag. Someone said the other day, though, it's true. If you saw someone out, let me ask you this. If you saw someone out with a flag on like their shirt or their car or even on their house for that matter, at this date in September 2020, you would just assume they were like Trump voter or whatever. You really would. You'd be like, there's no way that guy is a liberal Democrat sporting a flag.
No, I mean, you know what? Like, I think people...
Which is really sad.
That, support the flag, regardless of who's president,
And the country.
Every Memorial Day, flags out, like... Yeah. It's just something we were raised to do.
Less and less, man. Less and less. It's weird that... Dude, the... Because we were talking at the place I'm moving. They were talking about... You can hang flags outside only if it's U.S. flag or like military flag or whatever. But Century Village, the gigantic senior community. No, fuck no. It's a 55 and over. They banned. We used to call it
Military Village.
They banned American flags on exteriors of homes because it's too divisive. And it's like we got to a point where our own country's flag is too divisive. What does that even mean? You can't rep your own country anymore. It's like, no, we have to have a reckoning about the shit we were doing 100 years ago. I wasn't here. Leave me the fuck alone. Let me rock my flag because I'm I'm proud that I got an opportunity here.
They want us to be the nation of Chaz.
Yes. And every example in history of shit going wrong starts with the anti-flag, anti-book, it's all about take this down, hide this, you can't show that. That's where it starts. It's a creep effect. As soon
Fahrenheit
as
451.
it's a full creep effect of let's get people to not like this one thing, and then we'll get them to not like the next thing. It's scary.
Yeah, man.
With that, we'll leave you on that positive note. It was good catching up, man. You got to come back on. I haven't had a repeat guest yet. I got to start repeating people, and we'll do like regular segments.
In the last 16 years, man, you're still the smoothest cat I know.
I can't tell that story. Smoothest name I ever heard story. I can't tell that on here. Maybe one day. I got to protect the names of those people. The story wouldn't even be funny unless I could tell the guy's name too and the whole circumstances surrounding it, but it involves too many things. I can't be outing people.
Dude.
What's that?
You're a good dude.
Thanks, man. Likewise. We had some good times for sure.
Yeah, man.
I don't bond with a lot of people throughout my life. You know, only a handful of people I probably spent as much time with as Pat here, even though it was 16 years ago. A lot of fun times. But thank you. I really appreciate you coming on, man. We've been long overdue. And you're welcome back anytime. And say hi to Janelle. I'm going to hit you up soon, man. I really appreciate you.
All right, bud. You too, man.
Good talking to you, Patty. I'll talk to you soon, brother.
Later.